All right, so we're back in bed, and we decided to do an impromptu video topic, and we're going to talk about religion today, right?
Yeah,
I
we
don't,
didn't rehearse anything.
no rehearsal.
We don't know what we're gonna talk about. We just know the topic is religion.
We're going to see what comes out. Try to get as honest as we can, I guess, about our experiences with it, um, about starting a relationship
Yeah,
with, I
there
guess,
were 4 considerations, right? If you were to move your relationship to the next level and um, like long term, like marriage,
mm-hmm.
in a blended family, especially. Uh, but religion, it doesn't matter whether blended or not. But religion was one of them, then finances, then how to raise children.
Yeah, it was like 4 big things we had to agree on. We saw an article
What was the
somewhere.
4th one?
Children, finances, religion.
Religion. Extended family? Or is it
I
part
don't
of
know.
the family?
Doesn't really
Anyway,
matter, I
yeah,
guess. But
there was the 4th one.
religion is a big topic. So
Yeah, it's a big
if you don't
topic.
agree on religion, you're gonna have problems down the road because it's a big one. Religion and money, right?
Yeah, so here's the situation. I was raised in a Christian family with my parents being church leaders and me being a Sunday school kid, not just me and my six siblings, and then my parents at some point being Sunday school teachers. I moved to the U.S.
This is in South Africa.
In South Africa. I throughout my adult life, like a church-going person, every Sunday, praying before meals, praying with the kids, praying at bedtime, coming to the U.S., continuing that, and being a member of the church, and on top of that, an active member of the church, and being a Sunday school teacher. And then I meet my love here.
We're still here. We're still together.
We're still here.
Yeah.
And then we talk religion, and it's like, what religion? So,
Right.
what's your view on religion?
Yeah. Well, actually, my upbringing wasn't that far off from yours, although it wasn't as intense. I mean, that's a lot of religion you're talking about. But I did grow up with religion. My parents and brother and sister and I went to church, Catholic church, almost every Sunday. I went to public schools, but I did do some religious classes in addition because I think mainly my mom thought it's best to get a religious education, and she grew up with church. And I guess older generations in America, that's very common. Everyone went to church. I mean, basically everyone. You're talking about 40, 50, 80 years ago. That was just everybody did. So it was just a thing you did, and just part of the flow of everyday life or every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it wasn't as intense as what you're describing, but pretty much. But I guess the difference is then when I got I mean, to be honest, I never liked it. It was as kids, it's boring. You're not, at least for us, you're not engaging with the sermon. You're not hearing what they're saying. That you're just we couldn't wait to get out and go home and watch the the Packer game, the football games, or go play with our friends.
So it was kind of like a must do.
Oh, it was total must do. It was a chore. It was something you had to do, and no one. It was like, picture Sunday morning, we're out playing in the yard, and it's like, okay, time to come in and put your church clothes on, and we have to go to church. And I'm like, no, So that was the beginnings of it.
Can I say something
Yeah.
about that? Like, come in and put your church clothes on.
And I know what your experience was, but yeah.
Yeah, so, interesting because you'd be like, church again. For me and those who grew up in my, and by the way, we were not an outlier, like almost every family did that, church was a thing and, that high intensity. And because of the way we grew up, first we have uniform to go to
Right.
school
School uniform.
right?
Yeah.
Then you have clothes to wear after school, which are like very ordinary blend clothes. Then you have church going clothes. When you put those clothes on, like, I am going to church.
And that was
So there
special.
was special. That was special. The church going clothes. And then it's on a Sunday. There was also a special meal for Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much, during the week you thinking, weekend is coming. Oh, Sunday is going to be like dressing up and going to church and coming back to a special lunch.
Yeah.
So it was a package.
And I think you told me you see people and you connect with your friends and family would go there and you'd see them. And it was a real joy to it, and
Yeah.
the food and the people.
And it goes on for
And
a
you like
very
dressing
long
up.
time, but you don't, dressing up,
Yeah.
but you don't even feel it. You're like, it's church. It's not like killing time, but when you think about it, what else was there that was special on that day? There was football, which is soccer in
Yeah.
Aceh, which would be like a weekend afternoon, but I personally didn't really care about listening to football or watching football. It was about church and then walking around the village with. So okay,
Yeah.
back to religion then.
And so my friends, it was a completely different set of people when we go to church. It was a little bit away. It wasn't like seeing our friends
Yeah.
and family as like, oh, there's these church people again. I recognize. It was like so it was a totally sterile, separate environment. Didn't want to be there. It was a chore. Had to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything that was going on. And then when I did, I got old enough to understand. I mean, of course, you understood some of it, right? You hear the stories about all the biblical stories, but then as I got older, like this isn't. I don't believe any of this. I just like this is crazy talk. And we could talk about how I feel about it today, or how we feel about it today later.
How do you feel about it today?
Well, I appreciate the role. I appreciate religion, and that has in people's lives, and I understand. When you told me, as we were sharing stories about our different experiences growing up, just like we were doing now, I really understood where you're coming from when you told me about how the ritual of it, and the food, and the smells, and the bright colors they had, and dressing up, and there was this joy to it, and this tradition and like habit and pattern in your
And
life.
the association is very
So I got that. So and I appreciate associations and habits and a lot of the stories and lessons I am on board with, but for me, if you're basing everything on a core story that's not true, then I have a problem. Being a regular church-going member and buying into the whole thing. I'm fine with like reading passages together and talking about it, and I like this lesson, that lesson, but that's my adult view of it.
So the fundamental difference then, would you say, is, to you is stories like made up stories. What's in the Bible is made up stories, and to me, I strongly and truly believe in those stories to the letter, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it's true. It's semi-historical documents. I'm sure a lot of it is true. I'm just saying the core stories of Christianity were, a guy came back from being dead and there was a virgin birth. I mean, I think a lot of people, if you really know deep down in your heart that that's not true, but we can. I know people will say it is true, but I think
Like me, I say it is
I
true
know.
because
But it's hard for me to. I wish people would just admit that. Okay, we can still go to church. It's okay. Let's just still
to
go to
do
church,
what
guys.
though?
To connect with people and
Like a social gathering.
you can still read Bible passages, but you just take it with a grain of salt. And like, okay, you read between the lines. Like I think, even the most hardcore, I'm sure people at your church, they're not going to take, and maybe you do, but every word of the story of Genesis, and that's I don't know, Earth is only 5,000 years old or whatever they say. I mean, I think we're beyond that now. We have a lot of evidence. We know that's not true. So why are we going? Why?
See, this is the thing, like you strongly believe that these are just made up stories or some are made up, like they don't make sense in your thinking today. And I'm thinking every little single thing that's about religion is 100%,
But we have,
100% true. And I believe 100% into it.
but we know everyone, the top religious leaders will tell you that's not even true, and we have evidence dating humanity back hundreds of thousands of years. So we know that that's not true.
So
They've even
bottom line
that ship
is,
has sailed. You don't even have to fight for that one anymore. That's even your pastor would agree with me.
so I don't know about that, but so here's the thing though. So we love each other. We're getting married, by the
Yeah.
way, in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Right now we don't live in the same household, so I do whatever I do on Sundays, and we connect before or after that, and he does whatever he does with his children, and me with my children. Now, what's gonna happen
Yeah.
when we married and we live in the same household, and we praying like, oh, hallelujah, holding hands, and oh, remember when Jesus walked on water? And you're like, no, he didn't. I don't know what's gonna. I don't know. I mean, it's not like religion is a daily topic, right?
I haven't
But
seen
it's
you guys
not a
talk about it much when I've been
yeah, it's not a topic we avoid, but it's not a topic it's not an
here.
everyday,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
like topic. And of course, the older girls are teens now, they have questioning minds in their youth gathering. Sometimes there's a church youth gathering. Sometimes there's a topic about how do we know that this happened, and it's a discussion, it's an open discussion, so that can carry over to home, and we do our own interpretation of what happened. Of course, things tailor down a bit because we don't physically go to church, right, because of COVID. We even if you miss church when it's a YouTube like live church, you can listen to it later on. So it's almost like there's very less activity going on, but that's gonna change when things kind of go back to normal. And then that's one thing that we're gonna have to deal with, like how do we respectfully be considerate of each other's position, but still find a common ground of sort, so we can
It comes down to respect, right?
yeah.
To me, religion's it's a personal thing. It's a family decision, personal decision. Neither one of us can prove what we're saying either way. So, you want to believe something, you're you're free to believe what you want to believe, and religion. Religion really isn't about facts, right? That's something else. It's about your philosophy on life and creation, or universe creation, I guess.
Yeah, so that's what we agreed.
But yeah, it'll be
agreed to
interesting.
that. It is definitely going. Some things we might not even have thoroughly thought of. Like what happens in a typical Sunday We don't know. There's half of the household stay at home and the other goes, like where is that family ship of worshiping together? That's not gonna happen, most likely. So when we live through that, we'll see how it feels like.
We'll
But right
see.
now, we just know that we have different beliefs or understanding of what religion is, but we respect each other's position.
Right. And I think we're at the point where we have a difference there, but we feel it's still, even though that your picture of what family life is like with religion and my experience is different, we still think it's worth getting married, right? That the future is worth that. It's not, we're not getting hung up on this one aspect. We think we can live with and respect each other's differences.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
where we're at.
Yeah. The reconditioning is gonna be on, the family as I knew it and understood it, and this like trip to church together, and
Yeah.
maybe holding hands when praying. Now it's like, oops, my husband is at home. But right, it is definitely an adjustment. I mean, now I don't necessarily feel it because I've been
Yeah.
divorced for so long. I just go
Right.
with my
So there's
kids,
no difference. Yeah.
there's no difference. But yeah, so definitely going to be an adjustment. Definitely going to need the redefinition of a church-going family, right? But the core of of it all is that there is that respect. I completely respect your view, and I've always respected those who had different views than me, whether Muslim or just atheist, or that I believe what I believe is true. But like you said, I don't have proof to say which one is the truest of them all,
Right.
right?
And I should
So
say,
I
I'm
can
not
only-
like a pure atheist as most people would think about it, right? I just,
yeah, no, I'm
I like to
talking
just
about
say,
extremes.
I'm just for the record, I don't know what, I have no idea what
What to
created
believe.
the universe. So I haven't seen any evidence of anything. So I'm
How about I prove it to you?
I'd like to see that. Then I'll make another video and it'll get a billion hits.
Yeah, no, I don't have that ability, but you pray, right? Do you pray?
I think I would say
You
I
pray,
pray.
but you
Yeah.
don't necessarily say I'm praying to God. You're
I do
praying
pray.
to the higher power.
I do pray to a higher power.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know who you're praying to, but my view is that I don't pray often, but I do pray occasionally, and it's not. For me, I've come to realize it's more about what I get out of it than thinking that there's really something listening, and it's gonna. Oh well, okay, I'm gonna give this guy a break today, and at the expense of this person or whatever. It. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel it's more for my benefit, rather than asking someone to actually, someone with puppet strings that's going to change the way the universe works for me. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if it gives you comfort, then I think you should pray. People, even I was watching a video on. It's really interesting. I'll find this for you. But there's a video on scientists, like because I like watching videos on physics, and some of these guys are atheists, very strict atheists. But one of them said they were talking about religion, and he's like, "Well, yeah, so I do pray. I still pray sometimes." He's like, "Yeah, I do too."
Oh, but he's an atheist.
They both
yeah.
are atheist physicists, and they still admitted they still prayed.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Probably not to a certain, like a defined higher power, but just praying is like maybe like the law of attraction, right?
Well, you might just when you're desperate, sometimes you just think, help me or whatever. I think that kind of prayer, you know.
Yeah. Help me, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was the kind of thing they were talking about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just do it anyway. It's
So
something you do.
you believe sometimes, but
You may not
most
even
of the
believe
time-
it, but you're just like, well, what's, you know, I don't know. It's just something,
Mm-hmm.
you feel compelled to do it.
Yeah.
There's really no harm in praying,
Yeah. Yeah. There isn't.
you know. So
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's
that's
where
where we're
we're
at.
at.
We'll see what the future holds. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's our view in religion.
I'm sure we'll revisit this topic when we live in the same household and practically how
Yeah, we'll
how is it?
see how it's going.
Yeah.
If anybody has any comments about it,
Yeah. It'll be.
we'd love to hear people's experience about it too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all right, that's where we are with religion.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See ya.